Our students are able to match with incredibly competitive residencies throughout the country. And that's because these residency programs know how well our students are trained. And they know that when they come in as first-year residents, they're going to hit the ground running and they're going to succeed because they know how to examine patients, they know how to do arterial lines and other things. And so our senior medical students are already acting as first-year interns.
Dean Marzo, thank you for joining us on the Loyola interview series. It is so great to be back on the beautiful health science campus and to see you.
Great to see you, Lawrence, and very glad to be here.
Thank you. So to start off, we're going to take a trip down memory lane because you were a student here, right?
Correct.
So having been a student and now being the dean of the Stritch School of Medicine, what has drawn you to Loyola as a university and as a medical school?
Well, Loyola has a special place in my heart. I wouldn't be the man I am today without the people here at Loyola who trained me and guided me and mentored me. And it's, although I never aspired to be dean, when the opportunity arose, I was very happy for it and was able to test drive it, so to speak, as interim. And then the support I received from the students and the faculty and the staff they really encouraged me to apply for it, and I was awarded it in May of 2020. So been in the role now, including my interim stint, 5 years. This is the start of my 6th year, and we've accomplished a lot, but we have a lot of new initiatives that we're working on, which will make the school even better.
Awesome. We're going to talk about those in a second.
Great.
We are all fortunate to have you as dean of this school, and we're very grateful that you got that appointment.
And me too.
So when you think about the 23-24 year at Stritch School of Medicine, how would you characterize it?
So challenging in multiple respects. We have, a lot of noise, if you will, in the world with what's happening, and it's easy to get distracted in that. And our focus has been on the education of our students and really making sure that they receive the fundamentals they need to be successful physicians. So it's a matter of trying to stay focused on all that and not letting the extraneous noise get in the way. That was probably the biggest challenge, and trying to navigate that course and being sensitive to everybody's needs, but yet saying, no, we're here training doctors. Here's what you need to do. Here's what you need to know. And here's what you need to have in your skill set to succeed as a physician.
That's great. And I've noticed the way that Loyola trains doctors is different than many other doctors I've encountered. I remember someone telling me that Loyola has taught them at becoming a doctor how to not only do well, but how to do good. And I won't forget that.
That's a great saying, and I think it's due to the great culture we have here and the great physicians that are training our students.
Mm-hmm. Makes a difference.
Yes, it does.
So you mentioned some exciting initiatives coming down the pipeline. When you look ahead into the 24-25 academic year, what are some of those initiatives?
So we have a wonderful program for our students. In addition to their regular curriculum, probably the other tiers are an outstanding research experience. So we have something called the STAR program, which takes students between their first and second year and offers them an embedded research experience with our basic science researchers and our clinical researchers, where they participate in an 8-week elective, so to speak, doing bench-type research or clinical reviews. And then these research projects are presented at our research seminar on St. Albert's Day, St. Albert being the patron saint of physicians. And we have best presentations and awards for the best presentations and best research. Students who also participate in that can also participate in a research honors program, which is between their second and third year before they start their clinical rotation. So this is totally different than what we've had before, and we have funding to support a stipend for the students as well as to support their research. And the clinical and basic science departments are very invested in this, and it's a great chance to show our students what this biomedical research entails so that they can incorporate that into their careers. I think the other important initiative is our Ignatian Service Immersion. where students, many students opt for one or the other. You can't do both. There's just not enough time. But in the Ignatian Service Immersion, they're participating in outreach work like our Streetwise street medicine group, where we go to the L stations and the inner city and we help the homeless. And as you are no doubt aware, with the immigrant crisis, there's extra need for us to participate in some of these services and help our immigrant population, as well as the native homeless population in Chicago, who have incredible needs, and mentor them and care for them at the site where they're having, going to the people and providing care to them, because many of them do not take advantage of the opportunities the opportunities that are available for them to seek care. They're reluctant to do so, so we go to the patients and provide care there. We also participate in trips to throughout the country and throughout our hemisphere. So we have initiative at the border where we help immigrants with various needs at the southern border with Mexico. We do mission work and trips to Belize and to the Honduras and Bolivia and other Central American nations that have various needs. And then the students are also doing research in these initiatives, where they're presenting their research during their projects at our Center for Community and Global Health Fair that we have every year. So those are some exciting initiatives that we do. We also have a very interesting MD PhD program where we take students who are interested in becoming physicians, but also becoming bench type researchers. And we have we take 3 students per year. It's an 8-year program, and it's fully funded, so the students get their tuition covered and they also get a stipend. And it's a very competitive program. It's one of the jewels of the medical center. So
there's a lot going on here.
Yeah, oh, yes.
You've got me sold on wanting to apply,
Yes.
although it may be difficult for me with 1 in 4 medical school applicants coming to Stritch to apply.
Yes, we're very fortunate in that the national pool for applicants is about 48 to 50,000, and we get about 12,000 applications every year for 170 positions. So about 1 in every 4 students apply to Stritch.
Incredible. Really speaks to the reputation, and it's probably challenging when it comes to making those decisions, which segues into our next question. So when you think about the challenges that are facing not only the Stritch School of Medicine, but medical schools across the country, what are some of those challenges and how are they being addressed here? And what do you see in terms of how they're being addressed in medical schools around the world?
Yes, it's a great question. So we're fortunate in that because of our outstanding reputation, applicants apply to Stritch in great numbers. And it's hard to pick who who fits our culture here and who we think would do well. But we have an outstanding rubric that is holistic, that looks at the whole candidate, looks at not only their grades, but what they've done with respect to research, what they've done with respect to volunteerism, what they've done in their communities, showing that they're willing to give back, and that they've also done some investigating about the time commitment, because medicine is truly a calling, and we want students who know what it's going to take for them to succeed. So from that group of 12,000, we screen them, and then we narrow that field down and we do interviews. So we do interviews that are virtual, and we one of the few schools in the country that also offer in-person interviews. So the interview process is year-round. It is a challenge, but we have no problem seating a class of 170 students. Sure. Another concern is the financial pressures. So medical school is not cheap. We're right in line with the other schools in Chicago, but the tuition ranges between $60,000 and $70,000 a year for our schools in Chicago. We're right in the middle. But that doesn't include living expenses, so students have to take out loans for that. And so we do everything we can to get our students scholarships, and the average student receives about $13,000 to $14,000 per year in scholarships, which can reduce that tuition burden, but it still is not enough. So a big part of my role, in addition to making sure we're training good students, is to make sure that they have the resources they need, and that we're finding more student aid for them and family scholarships and other things from our generous alumni. Another important initiative, thanks to the university, has been our Wellness Center, which opened last year, and it's on the 4th floor of our campus here in this building, and it's been utilized extremely well. Students are seeking it out for their needs, and so it's one of those, if you build it, they will come, right? The other initiative is our food pantry. So we just opened that recently, and we're seeing incredible use of that as well. So those are resources we never had when I was a student here. We didn't have the immersion, we didn't have the STAR program, we didn't have the Wellness Center, we didn't have, the food pantry. So those are all important things that we're doing to support our students.
That's incredible. I remember hearing about the food pantry opening up here, and I was just really happy to see the additional steps that we're taking across campus. So very grateful for that.
Yes.
You've touched on some of this already, but what are some of the notable accomplishments that you may want to touch on as it relates to the Stritch School of Medicine?
I think our biggest accomplishment is how well our students do when they are applying for our students are able to match with incredibly competitive residencies throughout the country. And that's because these residency programs know how well our students are trained. And they know that when they come in as first-year residents, they're going to hit the ground running, and they're going to succeed because they know how to examine patients, they know how to do arterial lines and other things. And so our senior medical students are already acting as first-year interns. I get that call a lot from residency program directors, how well our students are trained.
That's great.
Yeah.
One of the things I love about coming to this campus is the innovation that's happening here, especially around technology and facilities. I know when people take tours, they're always amazed. Can you touch a little bit on the innovation behind the technology and the facilities that we have here at Stritch?
Absolutely. One of the jewels of our campus is our Center for Translational Research and Education, which is right behind you. And we have outstanding researchers in our basic science departments. We have 4 basic science departments. We have 4 institutes which bring the basic scientists and the clinicians together to work on translational problems. And our students are able to participate in those research through the STAR program. We also have biomedical graduate students who are working toward their masters and their PhDs and will become successful investigators when they finish here. Beneath us, we have a simulation center where our students, not only our medical students, but also nursing students and other students come and are able to, participate in deliveries with our simulators and do endoscopy and bronchoscopy and other things like that. And it's been wonderful for them to get hands-on experience with simulation tools so that when they see their patients, they already know the basics behind the procedure.
That's really great.
Yeah.
I learned a lot today.
Good. Me too.
And it's always a pleasure to see you. Thank you for taking the time. And for everyone that is watching this, I hope that they'll consider coming to take a tour of the campus as well, because it really is an incredible sight to see.
Yes, it's a wonderful place. I'm thrilled just to get here every day, and I want to thank you for interviewing me today.
Well, we're thrilled to have you every day.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dean Marzo.